Hello, welcome to our second episode of Camp Chat. Great to see you guys. Great to see you, Tom. Great to see you, Andy. And Andy, what have you got on for us today?
Today, we're going to be talking about mornings at camp. So I know we have two incredible members of staff here who have very varying roles, very different roles. So we want to know in depth what's running through your mind, what you get up to on an average morning at camp.
I'm always trying to think ahead of myself. So I would get up and want to be ready before, ready and up at the dining hall before everything is kicked off. So our duty staff, who are those around camp with our walkie-talkies, they all congregate in the dining hall and they have to finish their breakfast by about 8:25. So I'm usually in the dining hall by about 15:15, just checking up, seeing how they are and seeing if they're ready. So if there are any issues, I can make sure that the right person can deal with them.
So I'd say that my morning prep can often start the night before, because like Rich mentioned, with people on duty, or if there's staff who aren't there on that day, you've got to be aware that their dorms need to be woken up as well. So I'd say my first thing that I do each time is check that all of the kids are going to be woken up on time and be ready for breakfast in good time.
You've brought something interesting up there about spotting other dorms and helping out your colleagues. Can you give maybe another example of a time when you've been proactive in helping your colleagues out?
Yeah, so I think as a team leader for the junior and inter boys, you're constantly kind of going dorm to dorm whenever you're up there, just seeing everything's okay, how you can help. And then it's like you're just making sure every child has made it. Maybe check the bedroom before you go down, in case the dorm leader's not had enough time to do that. And then just little things. So like last year, I made an effort to offer every staff member with the junior and inter boys, if they wanted a tea or a coffee in the morning. They might not have enough time to go and get that if they're with their kids. So, just making sure that everyone's taken care for on like a personal level as well.
Andy, I don't remember getting offered a cup of tea or coffee. Do you?
I don't think I've ever been offered a cup of tea by Tom.
It's junior and inter boys staff only, the creme de la creme of our XUK workforce.
Well, that completely explains it. But it is fascinating. As the children and the staff start coming down for breakfast, I'll be try and station myself so I can see every child and every member of staff and see how they are, anything happened last night and that I need to know about. And therefore, if I can help in any way, or I can send them to the right person to make sure they can get medical help or find out about activities, which I guess, Andy, you'll mention a bit in a second. But they see a familiar face every single day, and there's a routine to the children, and part of that routine I think is to see the manager and have a chat to him or her.
Great. So there's lots of different interactions, and I know, Rich, you'll have interactions with the kids and the staff, but perhaps to different degrees as Tom would, and I know myself too.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy, do you find that being the activity manager, and of course a lot of the staff will come to you for help, do you find that different staff are coming at different times? Some at a more reasonable time, like the night before, to say, could I have a bit of help with this? And others 5 minutes before an activity when arguably it's too late?
Yeah, you do get occasions, you get some staff members who are thinking really proactively, and you can tell moving from the activity leader position into the activity manager position, you can really tell who's on it and who's thinking ahead. What about you, Tom, with setting up for the first activity? How do you go about transitioning from, being down with breakfast, engaging with the kids, then to getting your mind in the zone for delivering this activity first thing?
6 days a week at camp, or 5 days a week usually, I'll be down at the lake every morning and kind of getting those activities ready. Because as you did as well, Andy, we've earned the right to wear that lifeguard shirt.
Guys, are you talking about this?
Shambles.
Yeah, I've upset Andy and Tom. Sorry, guys, for wearing this. But I don't ever wear it at camp because I'm not a lifeguard. But I feel on non-camp days it's acceptable. But obviously you don't agree.
But yeah, so I'll be making sure that if, for example, it's paddleboarding, maybe a couple of staff members have gone down to the lake, half an hour early, They're unchaining the paddle boards, making sure they're pumped up, and then the remaining staff usually have to round up all the children who've got a lake activity. Yeah, I feel like down at the lake there's that little bit of extra prep because it's a walk to get there, and you've got all the kit and the safeguarding to be aware of. Yeah.
Do you find that on a trip day, which is our main trip day is on a Wednesday, do you both find that you have less to do because a lot of the walkie-talkying and the problems are dealt with by the logistics manager and by the transport manager?
I had teen dorms most of the time, so getting the teens up and about and ready and making sure they have everything they need. Well, I can't really talk for interns and juniors too much, but it's difficult. There's always teens forgetting things. There's always teens who don't want to get out of bed. So actually there are pressures, but they're different pressures.
I think often we're at kind of opposite ends of the spectrum in that maybe Andy will struggle to get his kids up and down for breakfast on time, whereas my kids will be up about 3 hours before they need to be, and they'll be excited to get the day started. So same problems, but with very different ways of approaching them, I think. Yeah.
To be honest, I think you've done really well in this conversation without having a foundation knowledge of what a morning is.
Yeah, so this comes from the fact that it's about 1 o'clock, 1:30 now, and I've been up for about an hour in my house. Lockdown has ruined my sleeping pattern, but I don't think I'm the only one out there.
It's also interesting, going back to the mornings, that it's not, for me, it's not just about our staff and our children, because I've got to keep the relationship with the school. So I want to make sure that the catering staff are okay, that they're happy, go and have a chat with them, make sure our staff and kids are behaving and that they've got everything they need. And also the school's head and bursar, to have a little chat with them just to make sure that there's nothing outstanding that we need to talk to about the premises or anything like that. So it's very much, for me, is a standing back, looking at the big picture, and then relying on you guys and others to do the more detailed work, which, well, you and they do amazingly.
As a staff member, I'm always quite keen on my kids to, they're very important with their pleases and thank yous, so they go to get their food, and just maintaining that relationship with the school staff takes nothing, but it goes such a long way to keep things positive on camp. Yeah,
it's difficult, isn't it? Because a lot of the children are shy. Some of them don't speak very good English. And at the school, with the school canteen staff, they quite rightly would expect children to be polite. And that would be drilled into them at the school, so they'll be used to it. But they'll have a slightly different response from some of our older teenagers, maybe, or our very younger kids who are very, very, very shy. And that must be something that you will handle day in, day out, to make sure that we are being as polite as we should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting you bring up the point of maintaining that relationship with the school, because I think that's something, like you say, goes on way behind the scenes, but it's so important to the smooth running of everything.
Yeah, they do a lot of the things behind the scenes that no one sees. They're cleaning, they're hoovering, they're sorting out the toilets for us. They're then cooking, then keeping up the premises. There's a huge amount that they're doing behind the scenes that yes, most people quite rightly should take for granted. And I suppose the better the job the school is doing, the more we don't notice it, or you don't notice it, and it's just down to me and the school.
Yeah, but I'd absolutely point out that the canteen staff, for example, are always well aware of the children who say please and thank you every time, and like it does, make a difference to their day as well, whether it's just a smile or some manners, asking how they are. Goes a long way to keeping people happy.
But before I leave you, I do have one question to fire at you guys if you're ready.
Not really, but fire away anyway.
So one question: who finished second in the 1976 top division season?
What a question. Why? Well, Tom was born about 20 years later than that. That was my year of birth, Andy. I assume not a coincidence. I've got no idea, but I'm going to stab a guess that you're trying to make me happy by saying it's Tottenham Hotspur.
I'm going to stop you right there, Rich, because I think any true football fan would know that it was, in fact, the mighty Queen's Park Rangers of West London who recorded their highest division finish that season.
My guess is that most people who watch this will never have heard of Queen's Park Rangers, Tom.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's probably true.
But that's amazing. The second were they in 76?
They were.
That's a good question. Very good question. Good answer.
You too. Thank you so much for joining us, Rich and Tom.
Thank you. Been great. A great topic. Really enjoyed it, and it's great hearing about what you're thinking about when we're all doing different things.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you. Hopefully we've given a bit of insight as to what goes on maybe behind the scenes day to day.
Thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing you next time.